Number 10?
Yeah, man. It's a
Oh,
decade.
way
Holy
off.
guacamole. Yeah, cheers. Let's get hammered, dude.
Drink a fake beer to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so a couple of things have gone on the micro level and on the macro level. There's a lot going on.
let's start way out.
Way out. Way out.
Global war, catastrophe.
Yeah, global wars are always happening, though.
Yeah.
Literally, if you look at human history, they're always kicking off, and ultimately this one was kicked off to support Israel and take out Iran once and for all.
Yeah.
I don't think that's working out in their favor, though. That's a big country with a lot of people, and it has a really large military, too.
And a lot of history and a lot of, I don't even know what to call it. Just will.
Yeah, for sure. It's the Persian people, dude.
It's the Persian, yeah, it's the Persian Empire. It's the will to just, I don't know if it has something to do with like what they perceive as to be their truth, but they're not going to be toyed with. No. I just feel for, the whole world and all the stress that it's causing everybody and all the death and destruction that it's doing in a really,
really.
What a wasteful.
We always just have to pray for the innocents who are affected by this and those who are caught up in the wars themselves, the soldiers who are just trying to get home safely to their families, and obviously the citizens of the countries that are being waged, like where the war's being waged, who are bystanders, and then you got politicians and corporate leaders who are shaking hands behind closed doors and enacting the policies that they conceive of that the common public is not aware of even slightly, and that's pretty much the way it's always been.
Yeah.
What is it good for? I mean, it allows humans to attain more power, and because of war we become more cohesive and produce more advanced technologies to destroy one another, and then the byproducts of those advanced destructive technologies typically result in better civilian technologies being utilized by the public afterwards. Like, ultimately, we're a warmongering species. We always have been and always will be, unless we all find stillness in our hearts and peace and choose not to follow the crowd when it's running off of a cliff.
Yeah, and the trick, like the illusion of that, the right choice is to, I guess, try to keep pushing for more when it's like, it's kind of like a foolish proposition to just amass more power and more wealth. Like, what really does it serve at the end of the day when, you see that it's like complete destruction, complete like chaos.
Hell.
And it causes more and more undue strain on the whole system where you're like, man, what is this really about? Mm-hmm. And if it is a spiritual thing, which partially it is, it's like, and pray for those people too, that they can see a different light or see a different way to communicate or to feel that need. Well, remember we were speaking last week about filling that void within ourselves with different things when the appropriate nourishment is like a positive spiritual nourishment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like praying that they could get some of that nourishment instead of
it's an inner void that is, your soul is longing for, right? And then because we live in a hyper material world where people perceive everything as external and there is nothing of value internally, you're seeking to gratify yourself externally. And what does that result in? Well, the world that we live in to a large degree, because people aren't actually taking the time to develop themselves spiritually. Because when you actually choose to do so, unless you're choosing to be, a devil worshiper and like really worship the wrong, like evil. If you're choosing to be evil, then you're devolving. But if you're going towards God, obviously there's a lot of people who listen to this, and I know you have your own perspective on it all. But then you're literally choosing to harness your own self so that you're not causing any destruction outside, because the human mind and spirit can be very destructive, and when we don't get control of that, we externalize it onto ourselves and others, and that's what causes the chaos, destruction, and disharmony.
Yeah.
We're responsible for ourselves, we
Well,
have to make
yeah.
that choice.
And you're responsible probably ultimately for projecting that bad part of yourself onto others. And
Yeah.
preferably let's not do that. Let's like change the way we internalize our the stuff that we go through, and then not have it go out in such a bad way onto other people, and the destructive
You have to be able to like realize what you're doing too, right? You have to see what you're like, the pain that you're causing to others and to yourself, and it has to affect you. You almost have to be emotional in that regard, and then you have to be conscious enough to enact that change as a result of what you're doing too, because you see it's a negative trajectory that you're on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects to it, and like it takes a lot of time. And
well, there's a lot of illusion, right? Like there's breaking through those illusory big ticket items that drive us, and coming down to your fundamentals, and dude, it's got to be some form of like humility and like reality, being within grasp of like your means as just a individual person and your family and friends, and dude, we get so blown out of proportion that you think of that proportion of like your ego and your the crazy part of yourself that is like constantly hungry for all the wrong stuff, and then trying to regulate that, I guess, or cut through the illusion so that you can be more humble, probably
be more virtuous rather than so passionate. It's about controlling yourself, your desires and all that, which are typically of a negative origin, and instilling virtue.
So when you think of like, well, we were kind of talking about that Caligula thing, like when the trauma and stuff happens as like young children, then that's like kind of informed your illusion into such a. It seems like it's the reality, right? It seems like that is your reality. So it's hard to like
because
snap.
It's all you know.
Well, yeah, it's hard to snap out of something that you don't know you're really like. A part of, especially when it comes to like brainwashing and all these other things, with propaganda and like high definition marketing. But where we are now, it's like coming into a place of being a little more thoughtful, a little more purposeful with like the moves we're making, seeing some of these bigger things like the pandemic, like Scamdemic coming through with the truth is like poking its head out in different places, and people are like, I'm gonna poke my head back into the sand rather than look at the uncomfortable truth. But then that's like what it always entails, is like being hell of uncomfortable with what is actual, what is reality,
with the truth,
and being like, oh man, this is so far. And it's not to like, it's never to like blame and to like try to immediately punish. Those are like those kind of instinctual things. It's more to like understand what the truth means and where it comes from, and like how better to move forward, instead of just being like, burn it down,
Yeah.
Because that's like what we're always going to do. And I think that's kind of like the standard issue human kind of thing. And that makes sense, because like after, the confusion and the like torture and the trauma, you want to burn it down. And that's kind of like, it's not that that's wrong to feel that way, but I don't know, we're caught in this quagmire of like continually like well, not everybody, but like
Yeah, no.
some of the bigger systems are caught in this thing where it's like we want to reel in almost the hardest big ticket items to reel
Yeah, and
in
it
because
doesn't
you're
work
like
like that. You got to take
billionaires
the
and
time.
trillionaires with crazy trauma and crazy
Yeah.
upbringings where they're like, oh, our family origin and the way that these prophecies need to keep going and we need to, you know,
Well,
act in a certain
even
way.
even back to what you were saying initially, you brought up Caligula, and then you brought up the pandemic, and you brought up childhood trauma, which then kind of paves the pathway for your perception in life and how you're going to act, unless you actually are conscientious enough to realize what you are doing, and you have to be able to have the humility to see it from a negative perspective if that's what it is. And then you have to be, you know, you have to have a good enough heart to actually be willing to alter that. And then you think about like where the pandemic that landed a lot of people, because I think a lot of people were afraid, unaware, and they actually wanted to do what was right, and they trusted the government because they don't have a lot of historical context. And for some reason a lot of people are under the perception that like government is like your big brother, it's like your father figure that's going to take care of you, whereas like human beings, citizens of a country, unless you're in a bloody dictatorship, you're actually the government, and you elect people to lead that. You don't have to go along with what they are telling you to do whatsoever. In fact, they're elected representatives. They don't have the power over you. The armed forces, the police, all these people are public servants, right? All of the officials are public servants. And the thing is, when you actually separate public and you make it like this private entity, then you're no longer like you're under a dictatorship, right? And people are like, oh, do what's right, do what's right, but they're not actually thinking about what's right and wrong. And then they're claiming science when they aren't even under the context, or they don't know the definition of science unto itself, because science is constantly changing all the time based off of research. That's why scientists do research and publish new papers all the time to have new findings, because it's constantly evolving. So you can't just invoke the word science and say, oh, that's the way. It's like, no, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're under mass hypnosis. You're under
Yeah.
programming. You're not, and like even if you were to ask these people to expand upon their train of thought, they wouldn't be able to, because they're acting emotionally. They're not acting logically whatsoever. They're not even considering what they're saying. And that's how you got like the quagmire of all these people. It's not so the pandemic. It's the way like our entire civilization operates. Everyone like gets in this like brain rot, and it's because the people in power and the corporations have studied psychology to a really high degree, and they've manipulated everyone from a very young age. You talk about they've traumatized people from a young age through programming, everything you watch, everything you see out in the collective, to break them down to this point, right? And then when you become an adult, you're not an independent critical thinker who's making actions for yourselves, choosing what you want to do. You're a broken down mechanical cog that is inserted into a machine of civilization that is propelled by down a trajectory chosen by typically elite psychopaths that retain all of the power. So you hand over your sovereignty to these people. Why? Oh, they know what's best. No, no one knows what's best for you. You have to know what's best for yourself. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying declare yourself a sovereign citizen, tell the public servants to go for themselves and all that, but you actually have to know what's good for you. And you have to think. And that's what
Yeah.
we're losing in society now, is the ability to think, emphasize. Like there's no humility in that regard either, because you have to be humble enough. You don't want to have this big ego where you think you know what's up. You have to be humble enough to actually consider, I might be wrong. But you also have to be able to be firm enough and stand for yourself when you're right.
When you feel that the truth is
Yeah.
resonating with the
Yeah.
in that cognitive dissonant kind of
And
way
like
where you're
even
like, this doesn't feel right, and yeah, you're have a compulsion
yeah.
to
And
actually speak up and
like
say stuff like, maybe this isn't safe and effective.
yeah.
Maybe it's not. Like, where's the proof anyways? Oh, we can't show you the proof.
Oh.
Okay, well then, this feels weird. What about informed consent?
Yeah.
What you were saying made me think too of like the it's like the grooming. Like if you're
Grooming children.
well, like
You know?
a lot of these people, placeholder politician people, have been groomed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're not going to ever say the truth. They're going to say exactly what they're groomed to say.
Lie.
Well, that's what, and they could believe the lie too.
Yeah.
And that's a part of the problem, that you have a bunch of people that are like
Excuse me.
willing to tell you basically anything, sell you anything, and then take away as much as they can of your own, kind of sovereignty. Like you are supposed to be like, there's you and then there's God and there's no other, all the other stuff is part of those illusions. That It's
Yeah.
like, that's nothing.
Nothing
really.
else matters.
There's no borders. There's no real kings and queens that are like superior or higher than you. They're like their own kind of sovereign people, but they're like,
It's the ego, right? That wants more and thinks that it is higher, right? It's always above. And we can go.
and been groomed to think that way too. Where
Yeah.
it's like other people are like, that's what I go back to, that humble thing where you're like, you could say that it's like, oh, I don't have to see others like this in this context, where it's like they're each just a person, just trying to do their thing. How you're making that effect on others, though, it's like, dude, fuck off. Like, just step back. You're not here to protect everybody in the country. You're not here to well, maybe they are there to manipulate everybody, and that's a part of their job. But it's like, as just people, we got to take our thunder back and be like coming back to, not being brainwashed, to being having revelation kind of open and revealed to us, so that we could just be like, what is reality? What is the realness of what's going on? And what, how do we act once you know what the truth is? Do you just stick to like the status quo stuff? Like, I'll just use you as an example, just like, oh, I gotta just like pursue this and pursue that thing and pursue. It's like, well, is that, maybe that would have applied in the standard issue weird world where we came from, but it's falling at the seams. The money and economy is not really real. It's not. We're living in this illusion.
Bubble.
So it's like,
You're like a bubble boy in a bubble world.
well, like how we were saying, you want to be like, not have your head in the sand, but also you want to be, well, we were talking about having faith, and it's like faith to me was like, man, will God actually take care of us if we put ourselves out there to be like, hey, man, we're not going to fit into this nasty world where it's just always going to be the same thing. Well, it's always going to be the same thing if we keep doing the same thing and we keep following these same trends and same things that we know, just always breeds more of the same. So
The only thing that's holding us back from that is fear, ultimately, and that's what I feel in my own heart. Because you're using me as an example, so like I'll live in fear, thinking I need to be doing this in order to conform to society and the expectations that are imposed upon me by the collective and what should be
all fear-based.
And every time I do that, I feel terrible inside. I'm not really nearly as successful. I have to grind and work towards it each and every day. And then when I let go of that and I'm just like doing my thing, things just come.
Yeah.
It all just works out. And you're no longer feeling immense stress and anxiety day by day, wondering, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. All of that, a lot of the time, is what other people believe you should be doing. And you shouldn't be listening to anyone other than your own heart and God. Like for me.
Well, and that's what our podcast is called.
Literally, be not afraid, bro.
It's like not living in fear and not letting those things kind of manipulate our being into being what we don't want to be. You become the evil that you abhor.
Precisely.
Literally.
It's like you're Anakin and you become Darth Vader when you're meant to free the Jedi.
Dude, that's Benjamin Netanyahu.
Literally, that guy.
And that's Donald Trump. It's the same dude. They become...
Look at them now.
Just always everything about fear and hubris. And it's like, if you're not...
And see the people that follow these guys too, Because like if you think about it...
They're
like,
mirrors of the same guy.
Look at Canada, for example. All of the promises that Carney made, and it's not Carney, that guy's just a placeholder himself, but they haven't gone through with anything. The economy has gone way downwards. They haven't opened up any energy projects like they said they would. Home building has gone down. Actually, it hasn't doubled. Just everything, you know.
Well,
Like
yeah,
there's a lot of, but that's our country. And then you look at the states, like Trump was like, we're not gonna have any more wars. We're gonna balance the economy. Like everything, it's just an absolute lie. You know, all they do is lie, and then they have power, and then they do what they were actually going to do all along. I don't know much about Netanyahu, other than he used to be like special forces in the Israeli army way back in the day. So he's lived through the state of Israel, kind of like almost from the inception to like where they are now. And they have big plans. And Netanyahu openly abhors the United States of America. He has said that,
weird.
and then he uses them like a dog on a leash. It's crazy because like you think about all the countries that were destroyed by America were all adversaries to Israel primarily, and America like is across the Pacific Ocean, so the Middle East has nothing to do with the U.S. at all, and that's just the reality, you know. Fucking, you know.
There will be books written about that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
100%. There's
what is
probably
that?
already books written about that, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and like, but like this is the world we live in. Like, it's a massive game of chess. You're either aware of it or you're not. And there's people, and peoples who are very powerful and have special interests. And then, you know, you're either aware of that or you're not. And if you're not aware of it, you kind of just sleepwalk throughout life and you're like, oh, everything's done. And then if you're aware of it, you're like, fuck, there's a lot of evil. A lot of evil, and there always has been. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Devil's playground, bro.
going back to the sovereignty thing, food sovereignty and just shelter and like warmth and lights.
Yeah.
Dude, we need
But
to.
if we didn't live in a society like this, okay, you want to know how hard it would be? So Canada would be fucking, but like you'd have to have animals all the time because you're not growing fucking vegetables because you probably wouldn't have electricity. So you'd have to can everything. You'd have to farm extensively in the summer, can all your shit, salt all your stuff.
Yeah, but to be free, that's like not that crazy.
No, it's not. I'm just saying,
Especially when the community is more orientated towards, hey man, one thing that helps us get there is just food.
yeah.
So we all
unless-
chip in and help more.
Unless the world gets EMP'd and there's no technology anymore, you're still living under a control grid because drones and tech is gonna surveil you, see exactly where you're at, and then gonna be like, "Hey, you paying your
but
taxes?"
then you can't be afraid of that.
No, you can't.
You gotta just be like, dude, fly your drone, but we're
Yeah.
not gonna.
You want some beans? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're gonna bring over some seeds with that drone, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man.
Life is quick. Like, I mean,
fuck, does it ever fly?
like, yeah, all these bad things are happening, and it's like here and here we are still. So I mean,
And the thing is,
we only have our choices. We only have the immediate part that we could actually do anything of significance for our families and us.
Yeah.
And it's like for when you're feeling the pinch, and you don't have the money, you don't have the opportunities, you become more kind of
pessimistic.
well, and like
Closed.
Yeah, just like upset with the standard way of life, and something needs to change. So it's like changing in a direction where you're going more towards what would you meet with prosperity when you start taking control and responsibility for yourself instead of having others try to declare the way that your life should be. It's like, dude, their way is not working. It's a warful and crazy way. And it's only made, just like more and more damage and heartache. So like, we need our own way, folks. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't fucking...
No way.
But yeah, thinking about the other part of the circumcision part, which seems like it's way out of left field, but it's like
We were talking about that earlier. Paul's not just bringing up circumcision.
Going along with something just because, just without thinking, just by doing something that's...
Hey, you mind if I cut off your baby's foreskin? It's part of a ritual we've been doing for a really long time, but I'm not Jewish. Yeah, well... I don't know why I'm doing that in Michael Jackson's voice. He has
Or
nothing to do with
the
this.
old guy
R.I.P.
from
Michael
that-
Jackson. Oh, that's what it was. Family Guy.
Guy.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know why that's a tradition
Well,
amongst our peoples.
it becomes the thing of brainwashed people doing stuff just because without thinking or, having some sort of courage to
Yeah.
like stand up and say, hey, you know what? This is crazy that we're doing this.
Yeah.
Let's stop. And it's like, it starts with like one person. And I'm sure, I don't know where it's at these days.
You're not vaccinating my baby, and you're not cutting off his foreskin either. Okay.
Well, and
It's the
it's
way
like,
it is.
Be in you want to be in reality of what the truth of these things, and then when the truth hits and we start finding out the information that's showing us something, oh, this is causing irreparable damage and yada yada whatever. It's like, take a shower with that truth, man. Let it rinse off the grime of being completely propagandized and brainwashed for so long. It'll be good, and then we can move forward in a way that's more clear and anyways, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, dude.
Clear, but like moving forward in a way that feels just more congruent if you want to be in a line of truth, in a line of not being scared of everything.
Mm-hmm. I do know what you mean, brother. Yeah, you don't want to take anything at face value and engage in it without consideration.
Especially
That's
old
it.
ideas.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck, man.
Like,
These
but
old
yeah, like,
ancient ideas, too. Like, god
Comes to
damn.
thinking for yourself, dude. Like the Jews, they cut off their foreskin because that's how they knew they were Jews. They're like, hey, we're all just gonna.
Well, on some cleanliness purpose of way back then, maybe I could give a little credence to something about.
You know what?
I don't know though.
But you never know. If you're uncircumcised and you go for a jog in shorts and you fall, you could get rocks up your foreskin. Like really, you got really short shorts and you're not wearing underwear. You're just like you just get all these pebbles up in there.
catch a bunch of dust.
Yeah.
You don't know how to clean it,
So
so then
maybe-
it's gonna get infected.
That's not happening to me,
Oh,
but
man.
that could happen to someone else. Yeah,
Anyways, that's
it's a whole other.
another tangent altogether. But
Yeah.
so onwards.
Yeah, man. No, it's like that's it, right? Like we're talking about the complexity and the chaos of the world that we live in at this moment in time, but ultimately we have a choice to either allow it to envelop us and feel that stress, anxiety, and fear all the time. Like that's what they're trying to have us immersed in, that state, because when we operate from that state, we're far weaker. We're less intelligent. We're less open. We're not communicating with one another. So the whole purpose of it is to not do that, to have joy, to have love, to have connection. All of these, you have to have that in your heart. You have to be doing that amongst others.
Yeah.
You have to stay. You have to stay. You don't have to give up. You never give up. Even in the worst times, that's when you fight harder. And I think that's what we're all realizing. I can't speak for everyone. That's what I'm realizing.
You want to dig deeper, hopefully.
But like in these times, like this is the time for us all to rise up and actually like really truly live.
Yeah, rise
Truly
to
live. Because we've been programmed for so long to think that life's just this assembly line. Because that's what that's what the elites of the Western civilization have set it up as. You are born, you go through the assembly school, you furthermore go to a more advanced assembly school, depending on the factory setting that you are going to be programmed with. What is your specialization? Go through that factory setting.
What rank are you?
Yeah. And then after you're done, then you're built up, right? And then they put you in the factory, another factory where you're assembling something else and expanding upon something else.
Economic force.
And then they retire you in the end.
Yeah, it's so
And
stupid.
a lot of people don't get
made
retired even.
Yeah, they made everything around money and economy.
Yeah.
And you're just a cog in that wheel where it's like, dude, your economy sucks.
Yeah, there's like no humanity in it whatsoever. And then we judge other
And the
people's-
game is rigged, like George Carlin said. It's like it's rigged. It's a club, and you're not a part of it.
No.
It's like fuck that club. Then
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that nonsense in the first place. So that kind of dovetails in with like you know, the stress and the anxiety and stuff, and like being able to cope and deal with it, and like not give in to our fears, not give in to the depressions and anxieties. I know for me, it's like apparently I'm severely anxious, and I always just thought that's like the mode that my brain is like calculating and thinking on like overtime, and then kind of taking a step back and being like, maybe that's not like the best way to serve myself. And I know now that it's like, wow, I was like really kind of suffering in that state of just like drowning in thoughts about all this stuff. And then coming to the place of meditation, basically taking some time to just be still and to like stop that process, break it down, start breathing more, and just really kind of being like, this is just a moment, and that, you know, everything passes and you're going to get through it, and that you're, you know, being all hyped up and like kind of clenched and like overthinking about it, or like breathing and like regulating and letting it go and being in a different mode really has like kind of helped me, at least in the past 3 days, noticeably be like, all right, things are what they are, and no amount of over processing from me is going to do much. So it's like, where is my state of mind at to be able to do all the things that you actually were like kind of talking about, where we want to take care of ourselves better, rise up, meet challenges, you know, and like do the right thing, be more in a virtuous modality, or whatever you want to call it, where you have the capacity at least to make good choices for yourself and your friends and others, and like be a more of a positive role model, a good leader, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the anxiety is real, and like that depression part is real too, eh? Like, it's hard when you feel stuck with it.
Yeah, you can't give up on it. The thing is, like, unless you actually see it for what it is, identify it. Like, if you're not even aware of it and you're just stuck in an apathetic state and you're worried all the time, and you think that's your normal modality, and you don't have any ability to like move forward, then you're gonna have a really hard time. You have to identify what's wrong with you. You got to see it for what it is. And then you got to work against that. You can't just give up. That's what I'm getting at. You know, like the thing is, people always say, oh, I'm anxious, I'm depressed. It's like, okay, now that you see that for what it is, you got to work against that. That's spiritual warfare. That's how I see it as. It's forces going against you to oppress you so that you can't actually live your life. And you're giving up your life force. You're giving up your entire life in this state. You got to work against it. You don't just say, oh, I'm flowing down the river. I shouldn't swim. I shouldn't swim to the side. You don't just like get it and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can't like think your way out of that. You do have to fight for yourself.
Yeah, man.
And you're worth the fight. You're worth the fight.
Yeah, like,
and it's your battle. It's like your personal battle. And so that amount of fight that you put into it is like going into you, right? So like that is the best fight almost, because that energy goes out once you put that energy into yourself and fight for yourself. Be like, dude, fight for that block walk, or like doing something that's like a little bit different. Or
the mind's meant to be a tool. It's not meant to rule you. You're supposed to use your mind. You're not supposed to be controlled by your mind. You gotta shut it off. It's not supposed to be active 24/7.
Smack that brain around.
Yeah, imagine if you had your computer on all the time and you just had it like producing a bunch of shit.
It would burn out.
Yeah. So like that's your mind. It's an organic computer that's meant to analyze, process, and disseminate.
Yeah, and it definitely will burn out.
Yeah. Excuse me. That protein shake I had got to me.
It's working.
Yeah. But yeah, bro, you know, like ultimately, we could definitely have another episode on mental illness. We probably should. We should talk about that.
the affliction that permeates predominantly Western civilization more than anywhere else in the world, because interestingly enough, they're not all depressed and anxious in Africa. And guess what, guys? And a lot like Africa's not just a bunch of huts. Obviously, there's enormous cities and stuff like that. And probably the more they are modernizing in those cities, they are starting to feel the effects of mental illness and whatnot. That'd be interesting. We should get an African from Africa on this podcast and talk to them about. If they have to be in the city, they have to live in the city. Then we should talk to them about mental illness down there and if it's on the rise or not. You know what I'm saying? What they perceive, and then we should go. Like I think
I know firsthand from some immigrants that I like have worked with that they're like coming here and then just jumping into this kind of way of life. They're like,
this is not my thing.
not really the cup of tea that
Yo, I'd
you
way
might
rather
have
be
thought
on-
it was. It's
I'd
like,
way
oh,
rather
so
be on
everybody's
the
just
rice
working.
paddy.
Everybody's just working all the time and doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like,
No one's happy. Weird.
well, it's just, yeah, it's a weird, it's a weird way to, yeah. It's
not the way we're meant to be
You
lived.
can
That's-
tell the focus in the West.
And you feel guilty if you're not in the grind too. Like they want to strip you of your very essence, your very life, your creative force, everything that makes you you. They want that stripped down and for you to just be a cog. And everyone else is so brainwashed and enamored by that it's like, we are here to work, buy the house that is ridiculously expensive in Canada and almost impossible to attain, get the vehicle, meet partner,
Paid off
reproduce.
forever.
That's what we do. What, you're not doing that? What are you doing? Ding, ding, ding-a-ling-ding. It's like,
More tax, more
Yo.
inflation.
what's the point of that? What kind of life is that? You know, and I'm not saying
Well, it's
everyone's like that.
mismanaged. It's a mismanaged opportunity, and it's like, why do we even want this opportunity of this particular mismanaged bunch of Western whatever it is? Oh, because it's the best one. The other options suck, dude. There's more options.
Yeah.
It's like, are we not creative people?
Yeah.
Like, man, there's a million options to do life on such a cooler level. I keep saying it's like rising potential is only going to be cooler and better and more.
Like, you think about it, though, it's massive societies that crush the individual, and people are forced to collectivize in order to interact with one another because everyone's bringing themselves down so that they can feed their energy into that larger dynamic. You know, in like a tribe, there's like, oh, that dude's the hunter, that dude's the wood carver, that chick makes beaded
Soap.
gems. Yeah, that's just what they do, and they have their own unique individual personality allocated to that. In society, it's like, go to the factory and chop the meat. You're not hunting. Okay.
Yeah, that
You
was
know?
their last names.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's
Remember?
like, yeah, exactly. Oh, you make soap? We already have a factory that makes soap. You can go work there. There's 1,000 other people that do it. There's nothing special about the soap. You're not putting anything into it.
So
Okay.
maybe AI is going to be good. It's going to force us into
Fuck AI.
re-looking
No
at-
way. We're not going off on that tangent right now. We don't have enough time, buddy.
No, but you
I
won't
don't
be
like-
able to be defined by being a soap maker.
And a lot of people don't. It takes a long time to develop yourself to get to that point where you can actually be your own individual. So people who have lived their entire lives within the collective, occupying a role that is not even, you know what I mean? It'll take them a lot to readjust. That'll cause even more mental instability as a result of that. Look at most people. You think a lot of them could even operate if they
yeah,
were
but
employed?
they're going to have like a personal robot to talk to and help.
That's horrible, Paul. It's all horrible. Artificial intelligence and fucking robotics. It's stripping us of our humanity furthermore.
Yeah, but
It's the next step in empire.
well, it's an unknown step. If you think the people are already depressed, they're already mass drugged, they're already warring beyond, you know, it's like we're on the brink of like catastrophe.
I'm not.
What is I'm not.
I don't know. Like, man, like, honestly, even if shit hits the fan, you know, what are they going to do? Draft me?
They'll hit the fan.
Yeah, they're going to try, like, you know?
Yeah,
They're going to be like, here, go fight Chinese people in the East China Sea. I'll be like, no. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
Be like,
powerful
be like,
word.
go fight.
Say no,
Go
everybody.
fight Russians in Ukraine.
Nope.
No.
No, hell no.
Like, okay, well then go fight Iranians in Iran. No, I'm not doing any of that. You attack Canada, sure, I'll pick up a rifle, but unless that's actually going down, I'm not going to fucking assault people in their countries. No chance.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be hard to even fight people in
know?
Canada.
Oh yeah, but if they're, you kind of have to at that point. You know? And then even if what the economy's gonna tank, okay, well then we're gonna have to deal with it. We're not just all gonna fucking curl up in a ball and suck our thumbs and be like, oh no, like whatever happens, we just got to deal with it. But the only time I'm giving up is when I'm dead. And that's the only time anyone should give up.
As you're dying.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to no, you're dead. Like,
Yeah, I know.
and then you're like, there you go, you got me. You know, but before then, you know,
Strange and wonderful life.
yeah, it is. It's the mystery. You don't know it. You don't know what's gonna happen. You never will know what's gonna happen. People are like, I make my life happen for me. It's like, yeah, okay. You seem like a very humble and well put together individual.
Yeah.
You know, I have 8 supercars. I'm totally just thinking about Andrew Tate right now. And the massive flux of like dudes that flocked after that guy. And they're like, this is the way it is. I never knew who I was to begin with. You know, like everyone's trying to be someone else. You know, and that's a shame. At least Andrew Tate's Andrew Tate, you know?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like finding your being your authentic self. That is a part of the goal, you know, with life.
Yeah.
Finding what you stand for, finding what you, knowing what you want. It's like is a massive thing. It's like if you don't know what you want, you're like a
Cookie cutter.
well,
You're out of there.
you're a ship without a sail or a rudder. You're just like floating around. Like
Yeah.
you kind of have to know what you want and like, you know, find out the hard way or good way, at least one of the ways. And then you know, if it didn't work out, then it's not
That's
meant
all
to be.
you. Oh,
But
that's not meant to be.
or it's not meant to be, you know.
No.
And it's like at least you tried, you know.
You should always try. You should always try. Even if it's something you don't want to do, just give her a go. And if it's really that bad.
Yeah, I want to go to the rock climbing gym this week coming up.
Yeah, okay.
And get more I've been slacking. So maybe 2 weeks ago, my dog got attacked by 4 pit bulls, and we went through this traumatic event, and it really like downed my energy. And I had just come up through all this other stuff, and then got sick, and then, you know, cancer diagnoses and surgeries and treatments and doctor checkups and all kinds of stuff. And it's like I just didn't feel like doing anything the past couple of weeks, and like my energy was not in line with like being creative and fun. And I could feel like this anger dwelling that was like
In your heart.
percolating into like almost coming out and being like snappy and like just angry and like a little bit of like I don't have rage usually in this like ever, you know. And just feeling like, whoa, there is this little fire of rage that I need to like attenuate and like soothe it down, and then just like get my spark back to like something peaceful, so that I could like get back into a good mode of like being helpful and creative and like more serving the way I feel that feels good for me. But yeah, that's tough, man. That is a big challenge. And like dealing with the anxiety aspect of it was just like, goddamn, like, yeah, it's intense, eh? Like, you're trying to do what you think is best, and you don't always know what's best. And it's hard to get like good sage advice sometimes, or like just be like, hey, what are we doing? Are we really just meditating? Okay, well, let's try it. No harm not, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You can
try praying too.
Well, I was praying too, but it's like the stillness and like the slowing down the breath. It's like very like different, you know. It's very purposeful, and like some of these like anxiety, talking about bringing the anxiety down and putting the worries in perspective, you know.
Gotta put the worries into perspective.
And that it'll all pass, folks.
It always
One way or
does.
another.
Yeah. It's all gonna be all groovy. You just gotta believe that it's all gonna be all groovy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one step at a time. All right, well, I guess that's it, eh?
That's all that she wrote, buddy. Adios, amigos.
Be not afraid, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment we are happy.